No, tomorrow's September 1st. Prison Day. First day of school.
What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine?
Okay, look, I just don't get school. I just don't. I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's September, everyone's back in school, back in the seats. The parents are apparently happy to have their kids out of the house, and the kids are unhappy because they're losing their freedom. And can we just talk about the fact that they're losing their freedom? I mean, if you think about it, school's pretty much a prison, and I know that might not be the most popular statement to make, but as someone who went to school all of their childhood and their young adult life and actually really wanted to be a teacher, I think I have a few things to say about this. Now look, I know that good things come from school. Some people benefit from school. It's not so much that education is terrible, but we kind of have to question the system that we use, right? We want to look at the format. Why are schools still set up the way that they were 100 years ago?
Schools are still pretty much organized on factory lines, ringing bells, separate facilities, specialized into separate subjects. We still educate children by batches. We put them through the system by age group. It's like the most important thing about them is their date of manufacture.
I mean, if you look at a prison, what is a prison? A prison is the state telling someone that they have to go and live in a building and follow all the rules of that building for a certain amount of time. Okay, so what's a school? A school is the state telling people that they have to go and spend half of their day in a building, follow all the rules of that building for a certain amount of time. Not a huge difference, really, if you think about it. I mean, sure, people who go to prison, they can't go home, usually. You can get work release, though, I think. But if you think about it, when you go to school, and then, it's like the doors open at the end of the day, it's 3 o'clock or whatever, you're free, except you got all this homework, like tons of homework.
A new study does find that kids are getting way too much homework, apparently.
I mean, let me, how do I put this?
Homework, I hate you, you stink.
Okay, look, you're in a prison when you can't do anything without express permission from your supervisor, from your taskmaster, your overlord, your teacher. Can you go to the bathroom without permission? No. Can you speak? Can you speak your mind without permission? No. Can you get up and walk around if you want to? No! Of course not. That's ridiculous. Let's see, what can you do in school without permission? I remember that when I would finish a test or a homework assignment, I was allowed to quietly read a book or work on other schoolwork. So do more prison work or read. Those were just the only options. And that worked fine for me. I really liked to read, but what if you didn't like to read or do schoolwork? You just had to sit there.
I wish I could wash you away in the sink.
I'm sorry, but if you're not allowed to go to the bathroom, speak, really move, talk, do anything without express permission, how is that any kind of like a free environment that fosters growth or learning? And let's just take a look at the structure of the school system. So we have one adult, the teacher, trying to disseminate information to a room full of kids. Now, this may have made sense back in the day when information was scarce. The awesome thing for us now, though, is that information is no longer scarce. There's this wonderful thing, terrible thing, really, wonderfully terrible thing, called the internet.
The internet is here.
Through the internet, through different websites, we have access actually to tons of different books, articles, sources, videos. We have all access to all of the information, just all of this stuff. Like anything that a teacher has access to, pretty much anyone else does from the internet.
The internet is great.
So why do we need the teacher? Why do we need an adult up there telling the kids this is what and this is how to? The kids can look it up. They can actually look it up on the internet faster than that old teacher can. And what's more, teachers And this is of no fault of their own. Curriculum, like school curriculums, are often designed to give the most worthless information to students. Like, we teach them so many things that they don't need to know about, and we don't teach them anything that's actually going to be relevant to life.
I wasn't taught how to get a job, but I can remember dissecting a frog.
Like advanced math. How many people needed to know advanced math? I know I didn't. Diagramming sentences. Can you diagram a sentence? I know I can't diagram a sentence. In fact, I forgot at the moment that I took the test and didn't have to worry about it anymore. History. You know, history, you try and criticize history in schools, people say, oh, kids need to know. They need to know what happened, right? We need to know history so that it doesn't repeat itself in the horrible... You know what? Sometimes you learn it. Have you actually looked at the history books? I was talking to a student once, and they were talking about how they had to memorize all of the different Native American tribes that existed in Michigan. Why? Because we live in Michigan, we need to know the names of all of the tribes. Like, what? No, that is so... We are filling our brains with irrelevant information. And the same things happen with science. I mean, yes, basic science is great to know, but this was actually the tipping point of me deciding to not become a teacher. And I've talked about this before, but it's worth bringing up again. I have gone to school and quit, and gone to school and quit to become a teacher so many times, it's ridiculous. There was I really wanted to, but there was a block there. There was something that was preventing me, and let me tell you what it ended up being. I was actually getting close to my student teaching process, and I was observing in a classroom, so I was sitting there, you know, I would take notes and kind of watch the teacher, maybe help them out, and it was a science class. And I was never a big science buff, but I have no problem with kids, you know, learning some basic science. But you want to know what they were learning? This was, I think, you know, like a middle school class, maybe 7th grade. And I'll tell you what they were studying. Volcanoes. More specifically, the different types of volcanoes. What? Let me ask you. Let me ask you, dear viewer, do you know the different types of volcanoes? Go ahead, list them. Do you even know how many there are? Do you care at all? Would you be shocked and just so disturbed to find out that most of our youth today don't know the different types of volcanoes? I know, I'm just all broken up about it.
Is that igneous or metamorphic? I don't need to write a 9 big.
And that was it. I was done. Like, they were getting tested on this. The teacher was like, they spent days talking about the different types of volcanoes. Why? Why? Who cares? Who cares at all? And it's not that no one should ever know this information. You know, there's probably like volcanologists who probably save millions of lives by knowing the types of volcanoes and warning people and studying it. That's great. All you volcanologists, more power to you. We don't need to tell every single 7th grader in the United States or the state of Michigan or whatever those different types. And we don't have to like force them to memorize it and then test them and then like punish them with bad grades if they didn't know, because it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not ever going to matter to their life. So you see the problem here, right? We're starting to get to a problem. Kids are forced to get up early in the morning, go to this building, sit there. They're not allowed to get up without permission. They're not allowed to speak without permission. They can't go to the bathroom without permission. They really can't do much. Talk to their friend? No, that is so not okay. Look at your phone? No, you can't do that. You might actually learn something on the internet. Wouldn't that be the worst? Wouldn't that just be the worst? And then we have one person, that teacher, throwing this information saying, this is what you have to learn, and you can look it up, that, you know, schools teach incorrect information. I mean, the stuff I learned about Christopher Columbus and, like, all that, it's garbage. It's garbage. So there's, like, numerous problems here with the school system, and that's not even touching the fact that by sending your kids to school, you're just kind of breaking them away from the family unit and giving them a new family unit, which breaks up the, you know, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to save that for another video.
Who invented school? Whoever it is, I will get payback.
So yeah, schools once were great, and you know, you always hear about like, oh, people, you know, there are people in other countries who wish that they could go to school. How dare we complain or criticize it? If you have no access to information or learning, of course you want to go to school. So I say we don't spend more money in schools and like throw more money into the school system. I mean, especially the U.S. school system. If you haven't noticed, it's kind of a joke.
The educational system in America is a joke.
I say, instead of taking all of the money from taxes for education and forcing kids into indoctrination prisons, I say we take all of that money and just give it to the people and let them buy computers with it, right? Give them computers, give them internet access at home, high-speed internet access, and let the learning be done at home. What do you think of that, huh? Pretty awesome. I know, I could fix the world if they let me.
Why didn't we just learn how to make technology? That would be so much better. Like, you wouldn't even have to buy your own computer. You could just make it. You're like, oh, I want a computer. We'll just buy the materials and make it.
We wouldn't even have to have public schools. Like, if we took away the public education, I know everyone would start freaking out, but if we took it away, private schools would still exist. There are still plenty of people out there who want their kids to get an education in that kind of formal, traditional way. There'd still be a lot of private schools, religious private schools, non-religious ones, like they would still exist. So you just take away the public education system, let the private schools exist, then we use all that tax money and say, okay, how do you want to educate your kids? Here's your voucher if you want to send them to a regular school, and here's your voucher for the internet and for all that stuff so that you can teach your kids yourself. We should be empowering parents and families to do their own education. When education comes from the government and from the state, that's more like indoctrination, right? And look at the things that kids learn these days. Not very helpful.
We don't need no thought control.
And don't try to tell me, oh, but school is great for socializing your kids. Like, that is just like the biggest joke. You can be socialized doing anything, right? You can have play dates. You can work on projects together. Like, if you look at homeschooling communities, they're often very socialized. Now, of course, you're going to have the people who lock their kids up in the basement, you know, writing away at their homework. And yeah, those kids aren't going to be socialized, but that doesn't mean that has to be what a home education looks like. There are plenty of homeschoolers who have vibrant communities where they get a lot of socialization and they have a lot more free time to spend not only at work but also at play. I mean, don't we want our kids to be kids? And don't you want your kids to be able to go into a focus that they're interested in? You know, when I was in school, I had certain interests. I really liked writing a lot. I was really interested in dance, but I could only spend a very, very limited amount of time on those things because, yeah, maybe writing was a subject in school, but I had to spend a lot of time also on all these other things that I didn't care about and I was never going to use. Like, I could have spent so much more time honing my writing skills and also my drama skills. I was really into theater, but no, I could have to segment that over here because I also had to learn about science and about math. And guess what? I don't remember any of the math. I was terrible at it. I barely skated by. How did that help me? How did that serve me? It didn't. But if I was home educated and I was able to have some of that voucher money from taxes, right? I could have gone and take dance classes. I could have gone and take acting lessons. I could have spent hours and hours every day writing and reading and research. But no, I wasn't allowed to do it because I had to go to indoctrination prison.
Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Albert Einstein.
Look, I don't pretend to have all the answers. Okay, I do. I do pretend to have all the answers. But I'm going to stop pretending to have all the answers now. I don't know what the best way to do it is. I'm just trying to get a conversation started here. I'm just trying to throw some ideas out there because I think it's really important that we question the way that we do things. Everything happens for a reason. We start certain systems and certain ways of doing things for a reason. But it doesn't mean that's always the best way to do it. And even if it is at that time, that doesn't mean it's still the best way to do it. We have to rethink these things and really ask ourselves, is this being effective? Is this doing us a service? Is this education system really creating thinkers and learners and entrepreneurs? Or is it a system that's set up to kind of stifle creativity as much as we hate to address that or admit it?
I realize I'm part of this small but growing revolution of kids who are going about their education differently. And you know what? It freaks a lot of people out. I don't use any one particular curriculum, and I'm not dedicated to any one particular approach. I hack my education. I take advantage of opportunities in my community and through a network of my friends and family. I take advantage of opportunities to experience what I'm learning.
And again, I wanted to be a teacher so badly. I do not blame teachers for this. I know a lot of amazing, amazing teachers who fight against the system to produce great results. But it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't have to fight against the system. We should be using the tools and the technology that we have available to us to allow learning to be experienced at home and outside the classroom. And I don't mean by giving more homework. That is the opposite of what I mean. Talk about prison. If I actually sent my kids to school and let some teacher raise them all day and teach them what right from wrong and, just do all of that, and then they come home and they have a bunch of homework to do, oh, heck no.
If only a bomb would explode you to bits. Homework, oh homework, you're giving me fits.
Okay, rant done. Rant over. Beginning of the school year rant is complete. Let me know what you think. Where am I wrong? Where am I way off base here? Tell me how amazing school is, or let me know if you agree, or somewhere in between. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, keep it simple, question everything, and stay radical.
And what did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? I learned our government must be strong. It's always right and never wrong. Our leaders are the finest men, and we elect them again and again. And that's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school.
Look, I don't pretend to have they're double parent, family, single parent, work. All of the homes in the United States, the United States. Why can't I speak? Why can't I speak? I wouldn't. What?
È così, Mogia, si studia sempre. Ci sarà mezz'ora di ricreazione. Nel pomeriggio ce n'è un'ora. Cioè, non è molto preciso nelle sue cose. E poi la scuola è una cosa da stare in gabbia. Cioè, a scuola non puoi vivere, non puoi giocare, non puoi fare l'amore, no? Poi, sai, quando la maestra ti chiama, cioè, un po' una cacchiata perché uno magari non ha studiato, gli dà la nota. Cioè, sono robe che nella vita non c'entrano. La nota, quelle cose lì non c'entrano. Cioè, nella vita c'entra l'amore, il bene, la gioia, la felicità, scoprire la vita, a urlare, cioè, voglio vivere, voglio essere libero, vai. Immagino le cose più belle, più pure, no? Invece i grandi con malizia lì, come te.